Hi, my name is Camille Rodriguez, and I am a field software engineer for Canonical. I will do a short demo about microk8s today. Microk8s is a cloud-native computing foundation upstream Kubernetes deployment. You can use it on Linux directly, no need for a VM. It will run through a snap. Or you can do it on Windows or Mac through multipass. Okay, let's get started. I will be running this demo on Ubuntu 1904, the Disco release. First thing we want to do is to do a sudo snap install microk8s with the classic confinement version. Once it is installed, we can run our microk8s, enable dashboard and DNS. What this does is that it deploys DNS, and it also deploys the Kubernetes dashboard with Grafana and InfluxDB. To get into the dashboard in a few minutes, we will need a token as a password, so I'll just run these two lines right away. It retrieves the token in the kube system, and it will print it out with this command. Let's run it again, because microk8s was getting set up and I went a little too fast. Good. So it ran, and this runs as well. All right, we got the token here. I'll just copy it and keep it in my clipboard for now. Let me clear this window. Now I can run the microk8s kube control, so kubectl, get all namespaces, and this will show me everything that is deployed. So these are all components of microk8s for the dashboard and the DNS and the just default microk8 service. Because you can see the DNS, Kubernetes dashboard, monitoring with Grafana, monitoring InfluxDB. So if we want to get to the Kubernetes dashboard, we need to access this IP. So make sure you don't use mine and that you use the one in your own deployment. So to do so, I will go into my browser, https:// and I want the 10.152.183.157. So it brings me to a potential security risk just because it's local and it's not encrypted, but you can bring that in the future. I will need a token to enter, and this is the token I had in my clipboard. So if you don't have it, you can just rerun the same command I ran earlier to retrieve the token. And here, let me make it just bigger. You have the Kubernetes dashboard. So you see your service running, the IP, the endpoints, and you have plenty of different workloads that you can run directly from this GUI. There's not much running right now because I just launched it, but this is where you would go to do stuff if you want to use the graphical interface. There's an alternative approach that you can do to access hosted services. So you can run microk8s.kubecontrol cluster info. And this tells you the master runs here, Grafana runs here, and InfluxDB runs there. So if I click, for example, on this link for Grafana, I will accept the risk. Then it asks me for a username password. To get this, I need to do microk8s.config, and it shows the cluster authority server, blah, 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 and then user admin password, this big password. Okay. And now I have access to Grafana. So Grafana is a great tool, open source tool to visualize dashboards. I don't have anything running really right now, so there's not much, but you could see the CPU usage of your different pods, the memory, a network, basically any information you want to track on your containers, you can do it with Grafana. Let's get back to my pod and clear this. And now I'm going to try to host a service in Kubernetes. It's going to be a microbot just for the sake of the demonstration. So I'll do microk8s with control create deployment microbot. So dash image don't reboot me / microbot v1. Oh, app got created. I want to have 2 replicas for this, so I'll show you just in a second what it looks like, but I need to scale my deployment microbot, and I'll say replicas equal 2. So it got scaled. So if I do a microk8s.kube control, get all, then you see I have my microbot that is in a pod, and there's 2 replicas running for this microbot, which is great. And one thing that is great with Kubernetes clusters is that if I decide to do replicas equal 3, then I get all, it would automatically run a 3rd container with the same program on it, and it will balance automatically. And you see now it is fully running. Just for it to be clearer. And so the pod will ensure the number of replicas are always on. So if I decide to kill one, so I don't need sudo here, microk8s, kube control, delete, and I select this one, let's say. Then it deletes it, but the pod wants 3 replicas at all time. So if I get the status again, once this is deleted, you'll see that the 3rd one with a different ID will have spawned. See? This one existed, it's the 2nd one. L6 existed, but a new one spawned as soon as this one disappeared, because you need to have always 3. So if you have some disaster happening, killing a bunch of your microbots, then your number of replicas in your pod would be recovered automatically, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so now to be able to expose the microbot and see it in a browser, I will run expose deployment microbot, and I want to expose on the port 80 of that microbot and expose it with the name microbot service. So if I do a get all now, I can see that this new service appeared. It's running on that IP on port 80, which is forwarded to the port 31,849 on my local host. So let's go see. Localhost. And I have a microbot. So this microbot is just a web service that will stay up as long as you have at least one microbot on. It shows which of the microbot is being used right now. So it is this one. So let's see what happens if I delete that microbot. Microk8s, kube control, delete. So it is deleted. Let's clear and see. So I still have 3 bots because, as I said, my replica is set to 3, so it spawned a new one. And what about the website? See, I reloaded, and now it changed the name of the microbot that is hosting the website. So now it is the second one. So as soon as you have a container going down, another one in your pod will take over for the service you're hosting. And so if you want to shut down everything now, you can do microk8s.stop. If you wanted to start from scratch, you could do a .reset to remove everything that you deployed so far. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this video will be helpful to you in getting started with microk8s.